Hey y'all. Today I'm over here around the pool, around the swimming pool and the pool deck. And last year I planted some bubblegum petunias along this side of the pool in front of the banana, well, kind of in between and in front of the banana trees. And they were beautiful. So I'm going to repeat that this year because I enjoyed it so much. And I wanted to bring y'all along for that. I'm going to show y'all the petunias that I'm planting are petunias that I took cuttings from in the late summer and in the fall and rooted them and overwintered them in the house. And so these petunias that I'm planting today are basically, has not costed me anything. They're completely free because the ones that I grew last year that I took the cuttings from, I had also propagated and overwintered in the house the year before. So I'm going to bring y'all in closer and show y'all where they're going to go and how they look. These are some of the ones I propagated. There's 6 here. I want to plant, these need to be spaced out because the bubble gum get pretty good size. And they bloom all summer, which is, until it freezes them actually. And sometimes the bubble gum in zone 7 and 8, they will come back. They don't come back everywhere I plant them, but in certain places in the yard, they'll die to the ground, and then about this time of year, you'll see them sprouting up again. I have some over there near the carport that are up and starting to grow now, and they had overwintered in the ground. Now, I didn't have any overwinter here, but that's okay because, like I said, I take cuttings. And, y'all, these are like, $7 and $8 for a little bitty cup of them at Home Depot right now. And, like I said, I got 6 of them here, so that'd be a pretty little penny if you was having to buy them. This is just a cheap, easy way to do it. Petunias propagate so easy. And here soon, and maybe the next week or so, I'm going to have a video come out showing y'all, propagating multiple different types of petunias because I also buy them. I don't just, propagate every year and not buy anything. I actually had a pre-order. I ordered it the first week of February, and it came in a couple weeks or so ago, and it's multiple different types of petunias that I've not grown before. And so, if you've watched many of my videos, I like to take propagations of what I buy. So I only bought one of each so I could propagate them. And, of course I'm going to plant and grow the ones I bought, but they were not cheap to buy like that. So, and I'm just going to, see which ones do good for me and which ones don't. I know the bubblegum does excellent. So I'm going to get these pulled out of these little cups and spread out. And I'll be back. Now I know these look small right now. They're puny. But in about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, these will be bushy and beautiful here. I mean, like I said, I've propagated and planted my cuttings from petunias for the last at least 3 years. And it takes 2 to 3 weeks, and then they're beautiful once you plant them in the ground. Now, I prefer planting mine in the ground. And the reason for that, I don't do that with all petunias, but certain ones, like the Super Petunia Vistas, they're just, in my opinion, they're easier to take care of in the ground. I'd rather have them in the ground. You have to do so much watering if they're in pots, and I hand water everything. I don't have anything set up on drip. So for me, this is the easiest way, and it's just so beautiful. They get so much bigger, in my opinion, in the ground than they do in pots. So let's get these planted. One thing about planting these little bitty cups or little bitty starter things is it only takes a very few minutes because you're not having to dig a big old hole. You're just digging a little tiny one. And so there's one. They go really quick. And this is kind of how I did them last year. I just put them out here to the edge. And y'all, when I first did this around the pool years ago, I put down fabric, landscape fabric, and I have regretted doing that ever since I started landscaping the yard. So unless you're just doing it for where you've got a walkway or something, I don't advise putting down landscape fabric. You can see how quick this is. And again, it's not costing me anything. And y'all will see in a few weeks how beautiful all of this looks out here with these petunias in the ground. Now, I'm not going to fertilize these today, but in a, whoops, yeah, I don't know if y'all can see, my elephant ears are starting to pop up through the ground too now. So I have elephant ears in between these hardy hibiscus, and then I will have these petunias in between those. This one's already starting to get bushy. I'm not going to prune these back, or even though they're leggy, because these petunias, they don't really, I mean, it's good if you do, and it would have been good if I'd have done it a few weeks ago, but you can still do it now. But in my opinion, they are just fine to leave them the way they are. I don't know if y'all can see that landscape fabric. I actually had a petunia right there last year on a little bit farther back. The soil is really good out here by the pool. And I forgot what I was saying to y'all, but I'll wait until we're going to have a few days with no rain, and then I will fertilize them. But again, they're giving rain for several days, so, which is one reason why I wanted to go ahead and get them planted today. And it'll help get rid of all the air pockets and get them settled in the ground. But I will wait, like I said, for about fertilizing them, and I'll just use the liquid fertilizer when I get ready to fertilize them. I fertilized them actually a few days ago in their little cups, and then it pretty much came floods for the next few days, so I know it got rid of most of the nutrients that I had tried to give them, but that's okay. They just really need to be in the ground. Or if you're putting them in a pot, they need to be potted. Those little bitty cups, they've been in them for, well, since last fall. Okay, and that's all I'm going to plant of those right here. But I'm planting some more in a different place. So I'm going to bring y'all and show y'all that. These are 2 flower beds that me and one of my daughters created last summer. And I think this year, I tried to focus last year on putting evergreens or things that I really didn't have to, mess with a lot. Mainly evergreens was my focus on these 2. And I do have, I had daffodils and things in there for early spring for blooms. And they were beautiful when they bloomed, but, they're dying down now. And I've got sedum, the autumn joey in here. And they will bloom, later on in the summer. But I want some flowers in here for the whole summer. So I'm going to plant some bubblegum in here. But I'm only going to plant bubblegum one on each side of the arborvitae tree because I've got other petunias, like I said, that I ordered. And I want to put a different color on the other side of the arborvitae in each bed. So they'll have a total just really of 2, but I'm thinking the bubblegum and maybe the white petunia or the silverberry petunia. I love both of those. And so we'll see, but I will have to propagate. So I may end up putting a white one and a silverberry. We'll just have to see. It's going to be a few weeks before my propagations would be ready. But I'm definitely going on ahead right now and putting a petunia on each side of the arbs. And if you'll see in between the flower beds, when I mowed the other day, I forgot to mow that. That's a little embarrassing. But it's fine. I'll get it here in a few days because I'm going to have to mow the whole yard again. So I'm not worried about that. But let me go get the petunias and we'll get started planting those. Now this is where I took cuttings and I probably had more than 2 in this cup, or this may be some that I transplanted during the winter time because I did have some cuttings, especially with the bubble gum, that started growing during the, like they were ones I started at the end of summer. And they had started growing, so I did have to up pot those on over right before the dead of winter. So I'm going to have to separate these before I can plant them. And I'll show y'all that as I'm doing it. Now all I'm going to do is look at the roots on those. I'm just going to dump them out of the pot and then I'm just going to basically break them, tear them apart because there's you can see one on each side and just kind of wiggle them a little bit and try not to break them. Now look at that. See how these are pretty good size. So these will really take off now that they're fixing to go in the ground. And I think I'm going to plant one right here. And then I'll show y'all where I'm going to put the other one when I go to plant it. It's starting to rain on me. I planted allium bulbs in here. And I don't know what the deal is with the allium bulbs. I have a terrible time getting those to come up and grow. And the only thing, like they come up and then they start dying down. I don't know why. I think they need a cold stratification, this particular type. We just don't have cold enough winters here, which I'm thankful for. But I think those kind are going to have, they're going to have to be like the tulips. If I want to grow them, I'm going to have to refrigerate them. I just don't know if I want to mess with that, but I'm going to with the tulips that I grew last year. But I don't know if I want to do that with these alliums. We'll see. Because they're about died down and they never bloomed. They never even came all the way up. So, now let's go get the other one planted. So I am planting the petunias between this trio groupings of these alliums. I love these two flower beds. I wasn't sure if I was going to be too crazy about them as I was planting them. Creating them. But I've discovered that I'm so glad that I did create these here, because I enjoyed these all winter long with all the evergreens and plants that I have in them. And now that the things have come back up, I think I'm really gonna enjoy these this summer. These beds. And so there we go. Those are planted. That's 8 petunias. They didn't cost me anything. $7 and $8 a piece plants. There's something else I'm gonna plant. Oh, I want to show y'all something right quick. I forget what these are called. I'll have to put it on the screen. The actual name of them. They're like a type of lily. These are so beautiful. These were gifted to me. Just the bulbs were gifted to me. I guess it was 2, maybe 3 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. Could have been 3. From a family member. And I planted them. He gave me several. And I planted them pretty much in 2 to 4 clumps. I think it might have been 4 little clumps. And I grew them for a year or so, and then I needed to move them. And when I did, I dug them up and I divided them and just spread them out. These are the only ones that have opened all the way up right now, but I've got them here. I've got them on the other side of that, on the other side of the trellis over there. They're flanking both sides. And I've got some out there under the pink magnolia tree. They go all the way around it. Now, some of those were little ones because they had multiplied, since I had them. But I've got, I think, 3 out there that are fixing to open up in blooms, too. If you have family and friends who are plant people, most of the time they're willing to, share a piece or a tuber or a bulb or, let you take a cut in here or there. And, it's wonderful to do that, because then you have, you basically have a free plant, but it has a lot of meaning to it also, because, you might not remember, oh, I bought this plant at Pack's Nursery or Home Depot or wherever. But when you get a plant from a family member or a friend, you remember where that plant came from. So it kind of makes them special. And so I like sharing my plants with friends and family members, and I, it's special when they share them with me too. Like I said, you never forget that. That's just, something that I thought might be, interesting. If you really hadn't thought about that, maybe think about that. Plus, you get free plants. And I don't know if y'all can see those foxglove back there with the roses. They're beautiful today. And every one of those are from where they self-seeded. I had two. A pink one and a white one on the other side of that crepe myrtle. And this year I've got multiple foxglove out there. And I think they're so pretty. I was planning on moving some of them. But now I really like them popping up all through the roses with that, it just kind of looks, I don't know, it has a cottage feel, like a cottage, vibe going on over there. I really like it, so I'm probably not going to move them now. But if they continue to self-seed, and they probably will, I will have to move some of those next year. But yeah, all of those were free, except for, the ones I had on the other side, and I had started those from seed. So, anyways, when I get ready to do the petunia video with propagations, now I have one on my channel where I show you how to propagate petunias. But I think I'm only doing one petunia in the video. I can't remember. That's been months ago. And but I'm going to do another one showing y'all with multiple different petunias. Like I said, here in the next couple weeks or so. Just keep an eye out for it if you're interested in learning how to propagate petunias. Anyways, I hope this helps. Until next time, bye.